Hello, welcome to Race Brain Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan, joined by Bracken Crocker, Jack Bauer. Today, we're going to preview DEKAFIT NorCal. Is it Sacramento?
Sacramento.
Light in the
San
beam?
Jose the first year, past 2 years have been Sacramento.
And then we're going to talk a little bit of Hyrox stuff about some theoreticals in that. Is that what we're going to do? We're just going to get lost into some things that might not happen. And then I'm going to complain about CrossFit because I've complained about all these other things, and this something happened in CrossFit that affects me kind of indirectly, but a little bit directly, and it makes me want to complain about it. And I got this microphone turned on, so that's what we're going to do. BK, quick question. We were talking about basketball off air. You made a post on social media. You putting middle schoolers in the blender, bro.
Oh, come on. That's a college kid.
Just letting them have it. That's what I guess that might just be what college kids look like to me these days. They just look like middle schoolers, how old we're getting out here.
Yeah. I couldn't post the other clips because they were either against old people or I was getting cooked.
So
there's gonna be a point. There's gonna be a point where you're like, all right, these are my highlights. That's what I've devolved to at this point.
No, we only had that was the only time we played on this side of the gym. There were 4 games going, so you couldn't film the other one. So we didn't really get much footage that day.
It's a bummer.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Wasn't very good though.
What place did you end up getting? Was there like a round robin? Did you
tournament style? You had to win a game to get to the second half of the tournament.
And you couldn't win a game?
We did. We got to the second half and then we got bounced immediately.
Okay. Sounds like fun though.
It was fun.
Yeah.
There was
a
wide range.
I feel like a lot of these like non-pro tournaments where you're not in high school, you're not on a team anymore, like it's just with some friends or family. I feel like if you've got endurance and you can, last a little bit as the day goes on, your team's going to do better just because most people don't have that stamina.
Yeah, this wasn't that. There was a couple AAU teams that showed up to just get work in. There were
so there were high school, there were middle school kids in there.
Okay. So no chance, basically.
Some overseas, like there's a 6'10" and a 6'11" guy there who play overseas who are back home and their friends grab them. Like there were 3 tiers of competition, and the upper tier was untouchable, and the middle tier was like better than what you'd find at your local run, and then the lower tier was just like not very good at all.
Where are you falling in this pyramid?
We were dead set in the middle of the second tier.
Rich.
Dead in the middle of the pyramid?
Dead in the middle, yeah.
We had someone make a comment on, I think it was on Instagram.
They wanted a drawing. Yep.
That was they were like talking a different language about.
Well, they were saying it was a 3D pyramid, so you can actually have some depth to it. But we won't go down that conversation again.
But is there still more than one on the top if it's a 3D pyramid?
Have more than one.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me. Jack, we got Deka NorCal. Are you fired up?
Not just Deka NorCal. Yes, I am. But we have Deka World Championship announcement.
We just got that announcement coming through right before we started recording. Jack hit us up. We were real excited about where it was going to be. Rumors of San Diego in December. Sounds lovely. Last year was Dallas. This year, Ocala, Florida. Beautiful Central Florida. I think it's funny when Hyrox the first, I guess like really 2021, where it's like, okay, we're going to make the Elite 15 a big deal. They did Vegas, and then Deka's like, cool, we'll do AC, like a way worse version of what you got going on. Hyrox this year, coast of France, Deka, Central Florida. It just works. They're just like, hey, how can we bounce off of what Hyrox is doing?
I can't believe they didn't choose Reno for that Vegas year.
They already have Tahoe.
Yeah, right. That's altitude, right, Reno?
Oh yeah,
it's up there.
Yeah, probably 4,000 or 5,000.
You ever stay in Reno?
It's the world's biggest little city. That's what they claim or something. I drove through it and I was like, this is interesting.
I loved Reno 911 when I was in college.
So it's a destination for you?
Yeah. So when we got the first chance to travel to California for a Spartan race, I made sure we flew into Reno because it was NorCal, and then stayed there before and after the race. And I was just so excited to see it all, and I just felt really let down. There's some beautiful parts of it, but
it seems like a cool location, right? Because it's close to Tahoe. It's on the Nevada side, so it's like taxes aren't as much as California, I believe. So it seems like it makes sense. I was looking at cost of like the housing market's pretty expensive there.
Oh yeah,
like
anything
strangely.
there, Lake Tahoe is crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It's just like the draw to Tahoe, and
It's everywhere now, though.
it really is literally everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah. Glad I got my house when I did.
Our assessment just came up. Everything just got reassessed in our city. And from when we bought 6 months prior to COVID to now, we have completely doubled in our assessment. So everyone's losing their mind over their taxes and everything. And I'm like, come on.
Come to Colorado, see how much you like that.
No, I get it. I get it. But yeah, that's just everywhere. That's just everywhere.
Everywhere. And we're not in a desirable area.
I was even
No one's moving to Wisconsin.
I saw your wife's
area.
I saw your wife's post the other day about running on every single street and looked like she went in a sketchy neighborhood. So maybe that'll keep the property taxes lower.
Well, there's plenty of sketchy neighborhoods, but there's also some nice pockets too.
I know.
She got her. Did she post? She heard her first gunshots on a run.
That was what I was referring to. She said that she heard them, and then there were 3 other reported ones in the area at the same time that she didn't hear about, like on that run at some point. So
yeah.
What's that app called that tells you about the bad stuff that's going on?
John Morant app. No, I'm just kidding.
It's I forget what it's called, but it's like Citizen. Citizen's what it's called.
Citizen.
Yeah, and it just basically tells you.
Door.
She uses like Crime Watcher or something.
Yeah, those things bad for mental health. Those things.
It's everywhere.
It's not.
You realize that there's bad areas, but really there's bad times. Like if a certain time of day, you can go just about anywhere in this city, and then the street lights come on, and then there's certain places you don't go anymore.
That's what living in an urban area. That was what was really hard about like the winter time, like because it gets dark, and then everything feels a little bit more sketchy. So you're just like inside always.
But winter running is the safest in cities.
Oh yeah.
People aren't just hopping outside to go light it up when it's 0 degrees out.
Gotta have a reason to go out and do that.
True.
When it storms, you hit the sketchy neighborhoods and you run.
You just need to see those streets. The weekend of Deka Worlds is December 13th through the 15th. So that is a week later for the second year in a row. I believe they pushed it back.
Yes. It was right
November
after Thanksgiving. Atlantic City was right after Thanksgiving.
It was right before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah, it was late November. Like you're right. It was before.
Yep.
So flights were expensive. Then first weekend of December, it's the tail end of Thanksgiving travel season. This, I think you hit that little sweet spot right before Christmas travel because it's more than 7 days out from Christmas where you'll probably be able to get away with an affordable flight. If I don't know how much that went into their consideration, but it's definitely a late race on the calendar.
If I had to pick, I would ask for second week of January.
You'd start off the year with the World.
For Deka World Championships, I want second week of January. I think that to me, and it doesn't mean this is right, but just in my thinking of this sport, that is the sweet spot of the hybrid calendar. And it then allows people like a VJ or a Ryland to go all in on Spartan World Championship or Hyrox, and then have time to pivot and sharpen down to a Deka because you can sharpen down to a Deka. So I think it should be after Hyrox, but it needs to be further away so that you can do Spartan World Championships or trifecta if you want. I don't think Spartan should poison their own well by making people choose between the two. Second week of January, lock it in.
It's like 5-6 weeks after Spartan Worlds, about 2.5 months after trifecta. That's not a bad point. Fortunately, they didn't have the overlap with Spartan Worlds and Deka Worlds because last year, I think it was 7 days apart, 6 days apart.
That's overlap.
3K was that's with international travel. That's essentially the same time of year, or the same weekend almost. So I'm glad that it's not the same this time.
Yep, it's an improvement.
Yep.
Pending when they announce what Spartan World Championships will be this year.
They had not announced that date.
I thought they said it was the last. It was the first weekend of December. So this will be like a 2-week gap.
Okay.
I thought it was like
first
November 30th through December 2nd or something. I saw some posts on that.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah. So this is the same venue as the one that they're going to be having in September, also in the Orlando area. Okay.
Oh, really? I just pulled up Ocala, how to get there, because I looked it up. I was like, Ocala. I know this is a place, but I've never been.
Heard
I
of
don't
it.
know where it is. It's
Yeah.
south of Gainesville. It's 35 miles south from the Gainesville airport. It's 73 miles from Orlando airport and 87 from Tampa, 94 from Jacksonville.
Ocala's not that nice, right?
Where it's located, I think it's classic Central Florida. Like I've been to like
Not
Gainesville
beach.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the state, like kind of north. It
Yep.
doesn't seem that easy to get to. Like Gainesville Airport, I'm guessing that's not an international like airport with like a
In
hub
all-
or anything.
In all fairness, with like OCR for years, we've been like, oh, it's only 2 hours from this city. And
This
like,
ain't
this is-
OCR.
This
I
is the
know
draw
that.
of hybrid.
I
The best
know
part about
it-
hybrid is
that
that
was
they're
going
in
to be my
urban
counter,
areas.
where I was going to say urban versus non-urban. Like we're kind of spoiled at this point where it's in a city, you're expecting that.
I like
Right.
that Orange County Convention Center in Orlando.
Exactly. That is a good like, and I'm guessing this Ocala, it's at an equestrian. It's just gonna have the same feel as the previous couple. Like the one in Dallas is just like it was like this big fairgrounds, which was like fine. And Dallas is a big city, so it's easy to get to. But like it's just like, you know, a little dumpy, like not that great. Like the PA race, I'm guessing it's gonna be like a similar venue to that. You come in, it's just like an old convention center that not a ton of stuff goes on at. There's not gonna be many bells and whistles, and this is just gonna be in the middle of Florida.
It's the difference between Hyrox and Deka. Hyrox can come in and make a venue spicy because they put on a performance in there. Deka just kind of echoes around the building.
One thing to keep in mind, and I just thought of this right now, didn't Spartan HQ move from Boston to Orlando during COVID?
Did they? I have no idea.
I thought that they relocated, or some people
Seems like a
relocated
descent
to
move. That seems like something you would do.
keep going. Yeah, but I thought that they have some presence in Orlando at this point, so that might actually make operations a little bit smoother. They might be able to, you know, not as much cost for transportation to get everything there as opposed to going across the country. I don't know. I'm giving it a chance.
Where's WTM this year?
That's also in Florida, correct?
Florida, also, yeah.
How far
Atmore.
from this venue?
No, that's Alabama. Yeah. I think that's Panhandle where they're at.
So not too far, because I mean this
So
isn't very
is
far
Spartan
south.
located down in Florida these days?
I'm just amazed it's not Jacksonville if we're doing all Spartan Florida.
I'd prefer it in Jacksonville. At least there's an airport.
Yeah, World's Toughest Mudder 2024, November 9th through 10th. So that is a month, 5 weeks before this. Bartow, Florida. I don't know where that is.
Me neither. But
And
yeah,
we're not looking it up.
we
I already
we're
looked it
not-
up. Oh man, that's just south of Orlando. So we're doing like the Tour de Orlando, basically.
Central Florida is
Yep.
the home of OCR and hybrid.
Basically halfway between Tampa and Orlando, a little bit on the south side. That's where Bartow is for World's Toughest Mudder. So we're just going north of Orlando.
Are you going to the Ocala race, Jack? You're not sure yet, right?
In September.
Yeah.
It all depends. They haven't announced if it's going to be top 15 or top 20. I think that's going to make a major difference in who makes worlds this year. Because last year,
rumor is 15. I heard a rumor.
okay, I heard a rumor that this is going to be in San Diego. So I
heard
don't know
that as well.
which rumors to believe. But if it's 15 last year, you were 14th at 31-13. You would have barely made the cut. Factoring in all end of year times that people ran in Dallas and stuff, because you were ranked.
I was like
yeah,
the
you're
ninth
ranked
guy.
9th or 10th, and then Chaz Hatton, Cole Walking, a few people really ran well at the end of the year. So
Oh, I see.
I'm saying that the 15th time last year was about 31-15, 31-20. So it's going to
We're going to
take
see a jump.
at least that. Now you've got Grayson Kilgore coming in. You're going to see a few more people give it a shot, and I think that it's probably going to take about a sub 31. So we'll see. Do I
But
really
new
want to go
standards.
Yeah. Do I really want to go to Central Florida twice, especially the week of my birthday for that last one? Not necessarily.
Where else would you want to go?
Florida is a
true.
place to celebrate a birthday. If you can't get to AC, you get to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I've been to AC for many occasion.
I did go to Florida for Palm Beach and got engaged there on my birthday after running a DEKAFIT. So that was that worked out. So it's gonna be hard. I'm saying it's gonna be a hard act to follow.
Didn't
the
we share a
second
So she
roof
quarter
watched
trip.
that
like
and
the
still
day
said
before?
yes.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Oh, I made Worlds, so she's like, how can't I?
Oh,
Yeah, got
Jersey
that last
chaser.
spot.
Gotta lock
Yeah.
this thing down.
Yeah, locking it up.
Jersey chaser. Cleat grabber.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jack, you got the Deka NorCal list
Yeah.
there in front of you, or the
Yes,
participant?
I do. So not going to be as deep as we saw for Anaheim, which we just saw this past weekend. On the women's side, we've got probably Michelle Navarro's looking like the
Nice.
favorite. But we also have Julie Best. She made Worlds last year, really competitive. Allie Wright, she'll do well. Is Megan Jones, is she the one who had a really fast Deka Strong a couple of years ago? That name seems familiar, but
Meg Jones.
Haley Brogan will be there, Amber Nelson, Jess Caviglia, who podiumed last year in Sacramento. So we've got some pretty decent talent, but compared to, Lauren Weeks and Vivian and Katie Duke that we saw last week, Lauren Griffith, that it's not going to be the same depth, but I wouldn't be surprised if one or two people from this race on the women's side end up having a mark that gets them into Worlds.
So worldwide right now, just looking at top 15, there's only been 2 races really in the United States, and if there's a fair amount of international names on this Elite 15. Should we just move Elite 15 over to Deka, I think they'll call it something different, like hook me
The
up with a
Elite
synonym.
12+3 or something.
Hook me up with a synonym of Elite BK. Break open that thesaurus.
Oh my goodness.
The thesaurus brain. But Sam Wood is 39.04 at 15 right now. So
That's
last
not gonna hold
year,
up,
no. I think what was last year, Brown? 36.30.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure everybody was 36 flat, roughly plus or minus a few seconds, and made it in. But
So
I
we'll
think
see
it's
some
just,
athletes, like those athletes are going to be 37 flat-ish, potentially threatening to get under for the win.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
yeah, Michelle Navarro, she's made Worlds both years.
Mm.
Jessica Viglia, like I said, last year it was Lauren Weeks, Nicole Miracle, and Katie Duke in NorCal, or maybe Anaheim, but it was like, you're not
That feels
gonna,
like forever ago when Nicole ran a Deka.
I know,
Right.
doesn't it? Yeah.
How we doing with
The
that?
problem this
synonym?
year with Hyrox showing that times and performances, people are really leapfrogging forward. I don't care about the courses. Athletes are just better. We can't argue that. I think you're going to have to race twice in Deka this year unless you pop a Sanderson.
Right.
And I think most
Yeah.
people are not going to punch a ticket on their first one. They're going to have to race a second one because people are just improving so rapidly that even the 10-month difference or 6-month difference from now till race day, the fitness increases are going to prevent good times now from being good times then.
Even Rich, the world champ in 2022, like last year, got into that fast heat barely, and then his imaginary body part like disappeared. So
Plantaris.
yeah, does your
It's
brother have
gone.
any? Does your brother have any hookups with the Orlando Magic? I know that he helped you out with the Mavericks out in Dallas.
Is there a G League team in Ocala?
The Gainesville
Maybe.
Gremlins.
Yeah. It looks like August, September. These are just not. The Fort Wayne, the Ultra in July. Yeah, because this will be the last. It looks like there's an Austin. Is Austin always in June like this? I thought that was earlier in the year.
I thought it was in May last year.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that Austin Spartan is the same weekend as Big Bear, so the end of May. So they probably want to space it out a week or two.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, I think that we could see a couple women from this race that you might be right, Bracken, where the time that they run might not hold up, but the athletes themselves get into a second race later on this year, and then they're a participant at Worlds because of a faster race later in the year.
Yeah,
I might go to this Fort Wayne race and run on that Mondo. What
That'd
are
be
the
cool.
what are the newest Nike spikes called that have the pods in them?
Can't wear spikes.
Odds?
Don't they have like the AirPod, like kind of like a
Those are the aggressive ones though, right? I'm forgetting. Not the dragonflies.
saying I'm not aggressive?
The other ones. Saying those are like 4-8 mile spikes.
Well,
It's
you're
only-
doing laps. You're
Yeah,
doing
I'm doing
500.
500
That's
at a
right in
time.
that. Yeah.
That's I stand corrected.
Thank you. Spock stepovers with those aggressive spikes.
Those spikes.
Easy.
Lunges, you definitely want your feet getting stuck.
On the
Yeah.
like, they put you on that like yoga mat and just be like in shreds.
Just shred it up.
It just comes up with you.
The line moves.
It's like toilet paper on your shoe, like you take
Mhm.
off and it just won't come off.
Put me on a Mondo,
Mondo
track, and some
track shoe.
spikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you taking?
If like legit, let me look around. I don't know. I'd like to get those Cielos, not the Cielo X, the Cielo Road.
RCs? Or are
Of
they just
course.
outdated?
Of course. I mean, I beat them up so bad now. I have a fairly fresh pair. RCs could work, but maybe even
I might even take something like
Rebellion. What are those topos?
this. Solomon. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Come on.
You
Like
think I'm gonna
Topos to
poison
me.
my wall with foot-shaped shoes?
They got two.
Get
They got
outta
2
here.
millimeter drops.
Yeah, why would you want
coming out,
shoes that are
bro.
shaped like your foot? That'd be a terrible idea.
2 millimeter drops?
I'm not trying to plod along like my ancestors. I'm trying to force my feet into a streamlined position so I can fly.
Bracken, you don't even race anymore. What do you need to fly for?
I can't argue that.
Yeah, exactly.
TBD.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got on the men's side, Jack?
All right, men's side. Isaac
I beat
Sanderson.
Logan Broadbent in a super, Jack.
That's true.
That's true. Outkicked him. That's why you need to fly.
Spartan, Michigan.
Kept
know
that-
If he still races, ipso facto, I still am relevant.
True.
Best #1 ranking. Yep. All right, Isaac Sanderson. We just saw him drop a sub 30 in Anaheim. A few weeks later, this guy's gonna be dangerous this year. I think that he's right in that. He could challenge for a podium at World Champs, in my opinion.
For sure. I think he can grab one of these Hyrox spots too. If all,
Yeah,
if all
Riker
goes
can.
well.
Why can't he at Deka World
Exactly.
Championships?
For sure.
Aggressive.
Riker
got
sucks.
Because okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Who else?
We've got Dustin Needham showing up. He usually ends up 33, 34. Chaz Hatton, who made Worlds last year, didn't have the fastest showing in Anaheim, but never know. I want to hear a little bit about.
He was a triple crown last year in age
correct.
group,
All
Chaz.
3 age groups. He's leveling up this year. Really good at ruck as well. Another guy I need some information on, Rich, Stephen Young.
Oh yeah,
Steve Young. Let's hear about him.
that's my main guy. We went to St. Joe's together. I think he was close to 4 flat post collegiately in the mile. And he's always been like a stronger type of athlete. He went out to Oregon after school to kind of pursue the running thing and did it for a long time. Ran into some injuries here or there. But now he's found hybrid. So this is gonna be his first crack at it. He's been training pretty hard for 4 months or so. And it's going to be his first go at it, so I'm excited for him. He's got superior guidance, so we should see him do
Good
just
name
fine.
also. Steve Young usually does well.
So a
Southpaw.
4 flat miler, how long ago?
He was born in 87, it says.
He's
on the
a year
sign-up
younger
sheet.
than I am, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably close to 8 to 10 years, probably.
That's about a Nas when he was.
Yeah.
Re-
He's
I
Less
think
still
a Nas
body
probably-
change than a Nas, right?
less than that. He's always been a beefier runner. He's a workhorse though. Came on the St. Joe's as a walk-on, left as one of the top guys. He has like the work ethic to do well in this sport. His metric
What's his
lineup
ceiling?
ceiling for Deka? I don't know. I think he could be under 30 for sure.
Right now or eventually?
I mean, just the race experience is going to be hard, like figuring out
Right.
how to pace and seeing just how it plays out in the back half after the bike. It's hard to say, but eventually.
Nice.
Eventually. So yeah, we're excited about Steve throwing down. So you got him into the top heat, Jack? Is Jack just sitting there, just dead stoned? Or is he just like,
I thought he was just upset with us.
he has a very straight face often. So I think he's just kind of hanging in there.
Throws on a staff shirt and he's not here to mess around.
No. Dude,
He's out of here.
The security at Hyrox DC was the most like about their job that I've ever seen. Like just in the convention center, like they were just really mean and really aggressive about like their job. So, and I thought about, I was like, yeah, in DC, security is probably like a pretty competitive field of work. So you get the best security guards even at some silly Hyrox event. So they were getting yelled at for running on the course and everything.
Sorry, guys. I just had my first soil settling in a couple of years. I don't know what happened.
Springtime.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, a lot of water present, some drainage.
Definitely.
Who had the worst, the least, or the most lax security of any Hyrox you've been to?
I mean, I'd go with Miami because they let you get that close to Matt Frazier.
They let him get that close to me. I was in the corral.
Okay. The other way around. Yeah.
I mean, Chicago's they'll crack down. They'll check your wristband.
Yeah, they'll
They'll
check.
check your wristband for sure.
Orange County was pretty lax.
They had probably let all their security guards go at that point. Or just
that was the most empty, open public building, private building I've ever seen in my life.
It's COVID-y then.
That was real COVID-y.
Yeah, were we wearing masks like warming up and stuff? That was just so silly.
It's Florida.
Oh, silly time. Yeah, that's right. That's why we were able to do it. Jack, who else we got on this list? We got my boy Steve.
Steve Young. We've got Grady Jackson signed up, but a couple people told me he is only doing ruck. He wants to take down Jarrett Newby this year at Worlds, so he's really going all in.
I tell you what, of all the people, of all the sports to target, I don't think I'd be targeting Jarrett Newby at weight carrying while running.
No, and it's not like some of these new sports that are like, just in general, you can like go after a world record or something like that. But that's when not that many people. I don't think there's anybody in the world who's going to be better than Jarrett at this.
Truly, the world. Yeah,
truly, like he is better than running.
Could Hunter? Could Atkins? Could Gaudet? Like he could move with weight.
What is he? 6'3"?
Big 6'4",
probably
maybe.
6'4", broad shoulders,
200.
149, 148,
150.00,
150.
Saw some of those Penn Relays photos.
Yeah,
I never ran Penn. We did Drake.
At the Jersey Relays. Did you watch? Did you did you watch?
I saw that sophomore high schooler, the 4x4 kid. His team bombed for him.
Who's that?
Quincy Wilson.
Yeah, that kid's a sophomore.
Kid.
Sophomore.
Are you serious?
He 16 years old.
He split a 44 something.
44.3, I think.
They actually fell down in
I know that.
Or dropped the baton.
Yeah,
I think
both times.
Things happened twice. Yeah.
Qualifiers and finals, and he's still
44. He runs crazy too. He's like way back.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that after the race? You guys got that 44 kid, right? How'd it go? Oh, I fell.
Dropped the baton.
Yeah. What about the next race? Yeah.
Again.
Fell again.
Yeah.
It seems like FlowTrack has some of the stuff on YouTube. If I were them, I would put all of it on YouTube, like maybe like a week after, just so people can catch it. You know,
they'll never do that. They want to make their money.
If I were a billionaire, I would buy FlowTrack and disband them.
You think they're? You think it would cost $1 billion to buy FlowTrack?
No. All right, if I was 100,000-aire.
Yeah.
I watched a video recently on basically some guy grading the value that you get from every single FlowTrack broadcast. And he's like, I went every single year, fast forwarded, and this was like a months-long project. And he's like, all right, I'd give this, it was 2012. Like the quality's not going to be as good, but they at least followed the people. I'll give it a 7. And every single year it's gotten worse. They have static cams for 5 hours, no commentary. They'll sometimes have someone who's just horrendous at commentary. The video, it's staring down at the floor instead of the athletes. And it's gotten worse over and over. And they only have 2 ways to watch stuff. It's either you pay the $12.99 a month, but it's a 12-month commitment, so you have to pay it all up front, or it's a $30 one-time purchase for a month if you don't want to do the year commitment. But it's like, say that you're a parent who just wants to see their kid out of state competing at a meet, whether it's high school or college, and then you get the shitty coverage that you're not expecting, and you just paid $30 for that. That's the issue the guy took in it, and it was actually pretty interesting. I'll post it in the group chat.
Was it BK that did this analysis?
BK would have been proud.
Sounds like right up his alley.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. The
I would have to
YouTube
watch
ones-
FlowTrack to do it.
Yeah. Couldn't spend your time doing that.
Yeah.
But the coverage that they put on YouTube was actually fine. It was like good commentary, several cams, and it felt like we were watching anything, like, maybe not something on NBC, but better than OCR.
Yep. Let me we keep getting sidetracked on this. So So Grady Jackson, we just mentioned, probably doing ruck. Max Fennel, he's going to go out hard again
Hell
every
yeah.
single year. He'll be in contention until about third or fourth station. Then we'll see what happens. Jeremiah Mahan
Nice.
got fourth place a couple years in a row behind me, who's going to be there. Got third place the past 2 years. Glenn Race, Mark, who just broke 31 for the second time. Mark Paulzine, who was 31 low at Worlds.
Wisconsin boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Farm strong.
And then John Howard just signed up.
Wow. So this is a good field.
Good field.
Good depth.
So where do you have yourself in the Bauer rankings, non-biased? What do you seated?
Take Grady Jackson out. I've got myself third.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Behind
Grady,
Isaac and Glenn.
I want to say I support him going
Isaac
after
then
Jarrett.
Glenn. Yeah.
Someone's got to go after Jarrett.
Yeah.
So I support him doing it. This is me not knocking Grady, because Grady has proven that he's a worthy candidate for anything that man wants to go after.
Totally.
But
he really is like a Swiss Army knife. He could do ultras. He could do Deka Strong. He can do Hyrox without going to a gym. Like
you meant overpriced and overrated.
Man, that's your
true?
interpretation. Yeah.
Is that, what would you buy
They're
first?
coasting on a reputation that's 100 years old.
Would you buy a Swiss Army knife or a float track subscription first?
I would buy 10 Swiss Army knives.
And throw them at Float Track HQ.
Yeah.
Right now, the top 15th time is 32:43. That's John Howard. And then, we have some international. Gregor is on here.
Rosanico?
Yep.
And he got like sixth in his race. We have Alphonse, the Spanish U, dropping a 30:50.
That's really good.
That's a fast time.
I wonder if that was a
course.
I wonder if that was a 2-lap course, because 30:50. We haven't seen. That's the fastest international time on the men's side that we've seen.
Yeah,
by
because
far.
we saw one race where several guys who were sub 60 in Hyrox, they're running like a 34, and it's like, what is going on? And then it turns out it's a 3-lap course on turf outside, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense why it's not the same
for sure.
But this, I think they got it dialed in. I forget the guy's name. I think it might be Angel, who's in charge of Deka overseas. Been doing a good job expanding, and like you said, there are a lot of international names on the leaderboard early in the season. We've got several local gym events that are going to have fast times. The guy who leads Deka Mile right now is from the UK. I forget his name. He dropped like an 18:20, 18:30 or so. But yeah, you've got some decent
Adam Jones.
Yes, give him a shout out. But yeah, you got some decent international.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they want to make that trip to beautiful Ocala.
It's East Coast at least, so
it is.
Europe,
Yeah,
you might actually get it, because that's going to save at least 4 extra hours flying to central part of the U.S. Maybe prevent a layover. Could happen.
And if
we're giving it crap, venue doesn't matter for Deka one bit. Doesn't matter.
The important thing is we are not going to have any controversy on measurements. We know Yancey's going to dial that thing in every single time. The people who make it for DEKAFIT specifically are going to be the ones who deserve making it there because of time. Deka Strong and Deka Mile, you might have a little inconsistencies, like with the ideal layouts at some local gyms
and judging,
using the Ryan Kent, the
Mattel brand,
the Walmart brand of skier.
Yeah. He's like, no, it was cool. It was only like 10 seconds faster per 500. I would have broke that record anyway.
Okay, so I'm not even exaggerating. So they have 2 ski ergs at my new gym. And one of them it's called just a ski machine. That's what it's called on the side. So it's some Mattel brand. And yesterday, Rich, I was doing those like minute on, minute off on ski erg, just casually pulling
on the machine.
On the ski machine. Ski machine. Casually pulling
120s.
Probably 150 to 152 pace. It was saying 126.
Dude, you're a beast, man. Are you serious?
I'm like, man, I am fast now. So
you're a beast.
Watch out for me on the ski erg. Yeah.
Comes off in 120.
Yeah. I just during my warm up, I went like 7.0 for my 2K warm up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that checks out.
Easy, dude. You're crushing. You're crushing things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a good fun race. OCR report on site.
We'll be doing the coverage. Yep.
Great. BK, you on the microphone?
Oh man.
No chance.
I think it's Xander and Luke for this one.
I'm a race dad now.
Oh, Rich with his you weren't even your hand was like around the. I don't get that.
That was just brain.
It said nice man, and it went
nice man.
Yeah.
You're a race dad. You got some karting. Do we call it
That's all
karting
we
still?
do anymore.
Was it not karting at some point? Or is it always karting?
Karting.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just different classes and levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's even adult karting.
You getting in on that?
Oh,
No.
Low impact.
safe,
run into
safe for the
something.
knees and let you crash.
So you run into something. Yeah. How do we feel about Deka going from 20 to 15 if that's true?
I asked Yancey before this, and they're still deciding on the number of people. So this is all they don't have an answer yet for number of people.
And do we know if they changed that thing with the age group needing to run age group to qualify for age group, or can you run elite and qualify for age group? The thing that we've been bitching about for a long time.
Yeah, where if you are the 21st person and they take in top 20, are you allowed to do it? But no, you didn't run an age group specific heat during the season, so you're not allowed to rate it.
If you or Mark Paulzine, right? Like he's going to run a good time that will qualify him in age group, but he's going to run elite. And say it's 15, doesn't make that 15. Can he take his time from his elite race in NorCal and race in and qualify him in the age group, which they have not been able to do in years prior?
Yeah, I think you should get a roll down. It's still the same course, consistent everywhere. You are the fastest in your age group if you want to race it. That's how I see it.
No doubt. Like that's
there's
a
no
no-brainer
inconsistencies.
To me, I don't know why they don't.
It's not like OCR if you had a course where the elite heat had a double sandbag and you only had a single one, so it's a different type of course.
This is not scalable.
Every single thing is identical. You happen to be that old, you should be allowed to race in that age group if you want to.
So there's a pro card. It's seamless passing between divisions, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they already kind of fixed this on the Spartan side with the competitive wave, where it's like, hey, top 3 overall, you guys get that overall elite podium. Everyone else, now your age group. They already have the roll down essentially for this figured out for Spartan this year.
Yeah, I understand a lot of the complaints about age group versus pro separation if there's a pro division and if everyone's allowed into it. But if they're not, the complaint that they don't belong in my division is really just saying I characterize them as a different form of human being because they have better performance than
they're
me.
Good.
Yeah, like what if you get better?
Right. Do you then now have to not like in
how much better than you can you get before you're not allowed to hang out with you? I don't love it.
It's just it's a negative for the entire field, right? Because the way that Deka generally runs is the competitive elite or whatever. They're in like waves, right? They got Jack Bauer behind the scenes putting people where
getting
they
those
belong.
seatings pretty much correct. Yeah.
And then the rest of the waves are open, right? So you're not competing necessarily against your peers, and it's like it's an open field as well. So it's like different levels of competitor are running at the same time. So to me, that like hurts the age grouper. It hurts their performance because they're not with people that are around. So like
not clustered.
I want these athletes who are going to be top 10 in their age group to have the ability to race an elite against elite field and a more advantageous course. But they don't really get to have that if they want to qualify at Worlds. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Jack, to answer your question, the 20 down to 15, I actually take the opposite stance of the Hyrox qualification, where I'm okay with it going down to 15. I think it's going to screw people over, yes, but like that's just the way it goes. Not everyone can make the playoffs.
No.
The only purpose of World Championship is to find out who the best in the world is. And realistically, there's not more than 15 people who can all potentially win the World Championship. So from that line of thinking, I'm okay with it being 15 because the qualification is pretty standard. There is some deviation here and there, but there's a lot of opportunities and you can just do it. You could even do, I mean, you don't have that opportunity, but energy wise, you could do 2 in a day. It's the type of thing where you can get multiple cracks at it. Hyrox, the qualification sucks. You got to allow more people in. Deka, the qualification is pretty decent. So I'm okay narrowing down the window a bit.
Yeah. And I think that if you are going to narrow it down to 15, there's actually a pretty good benefit because last year you had 2 heats of 10. And I feel like there were just too many people on the course at once. You kind of got lost in the fact that there was a second wave of people in your division even going at that point. So having them all in the same start line, that gives a little bit more prominence for that. So I think that would be a plus, having all 15, if they were to go with 15, go off at once. But if you're going to drop the number to 15, I think you have to allow the people who are the 16th elite or the ones who just missed the cutoff you have to let them backfill those age groups because
Agreed.
they're the best in their age group at that point. Like, I don't know, if you're taking away from their opportunity to qualify, you have to give them the opportunity to race in a different manner.
Yeah. And I feel like the 20, and I think a lot of the way Spartan and Deka make their decisions is for the general population, right? It's not for the elites necessarily. I think 15 is fine for the elites. 2 heats could be helpful. It gives more people to get in. That's cool. That's something we've been talking about for Hyrox for some time now.
Yeah.
But also, like when we're talking about 20
Thumbs up.
in age groups, geez, this is nice, giving aggressive thumbs up. The roll down is lengthy for the
Very.
age groups, right? So I think you'll still get a lot of people who want to get there and race, and who have this as a goal to race, make it into the 15. Or in past years, like, oh my god, I qualified, maybe I'll go, right? It wasn't necessarily like a goal that people set to get there. They just got that backfill. So I think 15 is actually fine.
I think that 15 is good for age groups, but I will say for the elite side of it, I think 20 might be the right number for the elite side, simply because you have a lot of local events where you've seen people put up these ridiculous times at their home gyms, and you're like, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I just know that you're not that type of athlete. And then they show up and they run 2 minutes slower in a strong or a mile. And it's like, what if you're that one person who's one spot out, but you didn't get the opportunity to race in the elite heat because someone with a, questionable time got in ahead of you? And I think that the top end of the sport, just like you mentioned with the Hyrox argument, it's like there's such little differentiation between the talent level between 16th and 20th at that point, but give people the opportunity to race from the elite side. That's how I feel about it for elite only. But I think age group, your argument was really good, Rich, where it's more, you don't want it to become a population like, oh, look what I got, I could sign up for it. You want it to be like, I earned that spot, there are fewer of them available, I better sign up for it, as opposed to, oh, it's still open 2 weeks later, now I can sign up for it.
I can see that. I don't think that a course can handle more than 15. I don't like heat 1 and heat 2 for world championship. I really don't like that. I want everyone to be able to compete against each other. And the only flaw in Deka, in my opinion, with all their setup, is the enter and exit of the stations. You enter in the middle of the station for any machine, and it's just bad. Some people have to overrun it. Some people have to turn back around and then leave, and it's such a choke point getting in and out. It's just not clean. It should be more like merging on and off of the highway. And until they figure that out, they can't have any more people on the course. Even if they could handle it station wise, it just becomes such a disadvantage to get there behind people, especially with the choosing where you're going to go kind of thing. I just really don't think it can handle more than 15. 15 is already pushing it when they're closely matched. 15 is great in open division, but at Worlds, when you have a clump of people coming in, you're losing seconds right off the bat by not racing stupid.
So basically what you're saying is you'd prefer it like Hyrox, where you just run to the end and then continue in that same direction. Maybe they should put like a little gate or something that everyone has to run by to funnel everybody at the end. So if you enter first, pick the first machine, you have to run by everyone else who's on a machine and cover the same exact distance, as opposed to, oh, I'm the first here, so I get a nice quick turnaround. That what you're saying? Something
like that. Yeah. I don't like that you can lose ground by the position you come in at, or that you can run into people going in and out.
That is an issue. That is an issue with Deka. Yeah, like if you get the sit-ups, for example, right? Like if you have to go past 4 or 5 rows down, like, I mean, it's not a ton of time, but it's say like whatever, 2 seconds.
Lunges right away.
Lunges, same thing.
Breaks rhythm.
Really all the stations. There is less favorable positions on there.
And the choke point's bad too.
But it's standard measurement. So if you have a strategy to get out there and you're like, I'm willing to shave a couple seconds here and risk it, and it pays off, then your strategy was worth it.
Yeah. I still think you could have standard measurement with it. It would just take a new template.
Yeah, definitely. And Yancey's open to, he's very, very serious about making sure that the courses for DEKAFIT are consistent. So I'm sure if, he decides to do that, then maybe it'll happen down the road. Although we did see a change for the sledge right at World Championship. I doubt he'll change the format for World Championship specifically,
It's
but
I'd
gonna
be
be
okay
a-
with it.
It's gonna be a Deka log for the
Decalogue, yeah,
a Ram log is for the burpees.
those things
Man,
are crazy.
freaking-
You see that Ram just released a 66 pounder?
I thought I saw that. I was like,
Yeah. I was like, is that a 99? Oh, it's a 66, but
66. That's like pretty
30
pretty
kilo.
legit. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy.
Either way, I have full confidence in Yancey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whatever he chooses, he's gonna make the best version of it, and it's gonna be accurate.
So stay tuned. Make sure you're locked in. Subscribe to Race Brain Podcast so we can give you sort of the news of what's happening for Deka for the rest of the weeks. We're not really sure.
We'll
We're
find
not
out
really
stuff
sure.
along the way.
We'll find out some stuff, and if we don't find out, we'll talk about what might happen, and we'll do it for 45 minutes. No
Yeah.
problem. No problem at all. Speaking of, Jack, you were on
HFM
HFM daily show or weekly show.
weekly.
The live show they've been doing, and you had a conversation about what Hyrox should do if someone needs to drop out of Worlds, correct? Why don't you just
Yeah.
lay down the framework of this conversation for us?
Yeah. So basically, remember James Kelly? He had that situation a couple years ago. I think it was Tim
Last year.
it was last year. Okay. I thought it was 2022 for some reason. But yeah, last year, Tim just can't race. They're like, hey, we've only got 14 people. Anybody want to run it? James Kelly, you're the fastest man in the building. Come on in. And then he ends up getting sixth or so. Eighth or yeah. Okay. My numbers are slightly off, but
I got you.
that's the gist of it. That's why you're here, Rich. But anyway, the scenario was brought up recently. What happens if someone can't race? How are they going to do this? Because they're given a set amount of qualifiers for Worlds. It's like you have to be top 5 at all these majors, and then they have their roll down throughout, but it's never worse than 5th. And then they have these last chance qualifiers. There's one additional spot available in Anaheim versus Cologne. So say that we reach our 15, and then one of those 15 athletes at some point in the next month and a half pulls a hamstring, can't race anymore, or just something happens, they get sick. Who's going to fill that spot? Do they just leave it vacant? And we were just kind of debating on what the right move would be for that.
I think it's pretty simple.
What is it?
Time.
Time.
Fastest time available.
Yeah.
Duh.
That was definitely not the stance we took.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah,
based off a Deka list.
Yes. Your Deka mile at wherever gym you want to do, wherever you want
Yeah.
it to be. Nothing verified, not judged. That gets you in.
Have an airport adjustment factor. That's what we'll do for their times.
I don't know, BK, what do you think?
I think you treat it like the fight game. They have a backup fighter for most main events, not big boxing events, but a lot of UFC has a backup fighter. They go through the training camp. They get paid as if they are going to fight. They get their show money oftentimes. They're flown over there. They make weight. They weigh in case something goes wrong. They are the backup fighter. I think you just have that. One man, one woman, fly them over. Listen, you're probably not going to race, but you're the next one up. Just have someone on standby.
It's like the alternate for a relay.
Yeah. I don't think that's the best answer, but it's the simplest.
But how do you determine that person? That's the main
Who
issue. It's
would
like,
get
who
the
gets
next spot normally?
This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
This has not happened. And
Well,
that worked out for
you
JK
use the old
last
system,
year.
right? Time.
Just time. Where's our guy, Yannick Chekla? He's in.
Or the closest
Chopper.
person
Chapa.
in the last chance qualifier. Whoever
See, so
finished closest,
do the
time
last-
percentage of winner.
Do you do the last chance qualifier, or are you doing Cologne or Anaheim? Because Anaheim already has one extra spot, but Cologne
Percent
had
behind
one.
winner. Whoever was the closest to the next qualifying spot, you could do.
Music to my ears. Percent of winner.
now does it make sense to give priority to the last chance qualifier over the majors in this instance?
That was going to be my argument, because what if the person, someone who got 6th and never ended up making it,
Say Colin got fifth.
they could have got 5th in one of the majors if one of those people who finished 1 through 5 drops out. So now that would have effectively bumped them into the top 5 to give them a spot anyway. It's like,
Or
to
is that how you do
retroact-
it, right? If you take it from the race where that person qualified,
that's what I'm
eliminate that
saying. Like,
person.
what's the right move to do?
You know what? Leave it blank.
I'm kind of with you, BK. Like
Just
Really?
leave it blank.
So
Like,
after
you're-
all these
Choose
years,
someone out of the crowd just to show how good these people are.
put in a grizzly bear. The
yeah. So after all these years of saying how stupid it is, where it's like, oh, we're only gonna have 13 people in Chicago for the U.S. champs because they won't go past 30. Now you want to keep it blank?
Well, think about the Olympics.
They'll
Think
leave
about
lanes
world
empty.
championships for track and field. What if someone gets sick the night before? What happens?
They leave the lane empty.
Empty.
Or-
You leave the lane empty. If you haven't earned it in there,
Right.
you don't get it. Now, I'm not saying I love that, but when I said earlier it's the simplest, this is the simplest. These are the spots that have been given. And if you can't fill it, then your lane is blank.
and there's opportunity. There's been 4 majors, 2 last chance qualifiers for people to punch their spots if they haven't at
tries.
this point. Like, we don't. And at the backup fighter, that example, it's like they need 2 people to have this event go on. You still have 14 people. The event's still
Yeah.
going to go on.
And the James Kelly example is a great one, but Hyrox has already shown like whoever gets in there has a chance of going top 10. That's great, but it doesn't change the race. Like, I'm so happy for James that he got that, because that's what really got him. Like, that was his next step up in the sport. That gave him the momentum, the confidence, the name recognition. But that race wouldn't have been any different if they left that blank. And so the
Correct.
people who have the potential to win the race are already there.
Then why do they give 15 spots? If there are only a few people who can realistically win it, like why
Well,
do
they've
they make a big
determined that
deal?
15 people have the chance to win it. I don't necessarily believe that, but you can't have a one-on-one race in an endurance sport and have it even look good. But the difference between 14 and 15 has no optical difference.
Yeah, because I think right now the fastest on the women's side is Miriam Van Roer. She has the fastest
From last
non-qualifying
year,
time.
though. That time
I know,
but
can
that time still count?
That's what
I'd let
Anthony was
her in.
saying. That should be the leader at the
That
moment.
should be. She ran that. She
No,
ran
not
like,
that should be, but that is the fastest
so he thinks
fastest time from someone who is not currently in the Elite 15.
They would probably do that. I think that is probably the most simple way, because they have had all these different opportunities, and now if they pick one, it's going to be unfair to the other. So I think it will just be like, all right, it is
Time.
And why
would-
not,
which
right?
would be Yannick.
It's on brand, and it shows that they have a puncher's chance. Like, we know you can run fast,
if the course is 4 minutes fast.
right? But is it any less dirty than any other option? You either leave it blank, which is probably the move, or you choose the next fastest. But when do you get them there?
I think you
gotta
have
choose
to
who's in the building.
you have to let the athlete know if they're an alternate, like the week of, at least a week out. And I know people can get sick the night before, but that's insane to expect someone to be able to race like that. You need to declare who this alternate is way ahead of time, so that if they're going to be that backstage fighter getting ready in case their name is called, they need to at least have been able to prep for that for a month, knowing that they might be able to step up there.
Yeah, leave it blank.
Leave it blank.
Leave it
Or have
blank?
it as a
Alright.
wild card spot for the best athlete you can come up with in that city. Like, let's just showcase someone from another sport. You think you're really good, like, come on out, try it at World Champs. You got a spot.
Please don't.
You're
do
this what Laz calls it, the human sacrifice at Barkley. One person gets allowed in every year that doesn't belong, just to like remind you. Let's have that. Let's have one sacrifice. You're the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, whoever like the first CrossFit or not the CrossFit Games, they get to
Right.
They get to participate.
Or triathlete. Bring him in. Nah, just leave it
we've-
blank.
We've seen the triathletes.
Leave it blank.
A
Leave it.
bracken race.
Put BK in
I
there.
don't want any part of that.
Put BK in there.
I know how
dude.
good this sport is.
Hey, you
I
can
don't
finish no
want-
worse than 15th
It's true.
in a field of 15.
Make $300
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
at least.
That was another thing that we talked about, the prize money, because they announced earlier in the year 150,000 for prize money at Worlds, and
They
then they
did?
announced that's what Matt was saying, and then they announced 20,000 for the team. So does that take away from the World's prize pot because they're giving 20 for the team race?
For the relay, they're giving 20.
Yeah, that apparently.
What?
I know. I don't know if that's
Bullshit.
for winning or if that's divided. First, second, third, each gets a fraction of it.
No race has ever advertised a fraction of their prize money that they're going to give out. It's always the biggest number they can possibly come up with is what they
Word
advertise.
Ash giving away $100,000.
They're
Right.
probably still working on that money, though. I mean, they're probably still working out sponsorship deals to. I mean, they should probably have it done soon.
Soon
probably
to
don't
make
know,
sure
like-
it happens.
Yeah, they probably don't know exactly what they have.
But
They're
but
giving
Matt
away
and
20,000
Anthony,
for that freaking relay, and
Yeah.
not everybody gets. And they're like hand picking who gets to race it.
all right, Rich. So we sort of know the teams, who's going to be on most teams. You and Pelayo, or you and Dylan. It's probably going to be you and Pelayo because you already have all that success. Who are you picking for your women that you think you can take down any other team?
The teams that are not already taken.
Yeah,
Well, I think the USB team would be really good.
that's what I'm. Who's your USB team? And you probably would stand a really good chance against beating anybody.
Yeah, me, Dylan, or Rylan. I'd take Dylan and
Put him on the ergs.
Put him on the ergs.
Yeah.
And then Lauren Griffith and Vivian Tafudo.
It's a nasty team.
It's a good team.
Yeah, Hunter, Kent, Meg, and Lauren.
That's also a really good team.
Can Hunter and Kent be on the same course together and do well?
They're gonna just be like picking at each other, trying to pick who gets to do what.
They're going to crack each other.
It's gonna be like
somehow.
whoever has to take farmers, they're gonna get insulted and like not do it. They're like, no, not me. I'm better than farmers. Not doing it.
I'm not doing this stupid minute 15 station.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's gonna be some sort of internal turmoil for that team. B team to take advantage.
Lauren's
What do you do for your
ego,
legs?
she's going to make so many demands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't want any part of that.
Only green M&Ms in my dressing room. He's just so high maintenance.
That would be a tough team to beat, though, because I mean, you put for that team.
How do you break it down?
You have to do Hunter on the ergs.
Yeah,
and then I think you got to do the women on
wall balls.
The sleds, lunges, and wall balls have to be the women.
Yep.
And then it is Kent on burpees and farmers,
which he's good at.
I'd bust his ass so
burpees
bad at those.
It's a waste of Kent.
That's what I mean. He's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna run like
all
a
the top guys can
250,000.
burpee about the same, I assume, if you put them in just a straight
No,
shot.
Rich.
World
Rich,
record
fastest
holder.
ever,
World
right?
record holder.
Yeah.
World record holder.
Second fastest.
Official, really recognized world record.
Yeah.
And farmers carry, like, what's the swing from a farmer's carry and a burpee broad jump from one to the other? It's just a waste of Kent. He's so good at so many things.
That's why they made a mistake.
How do you assemble your team, Rich? Your B team?
So it would depend on the race. Like, I think there would have to be unconventional tactics. Like, we could go the same route, right? And be like Dylan on the ergs, women on the sleds, lunges, and whatever. And I'll do burpees and farmers. But because that other team is so strong, I think it would make sense to have like a strong runner like me do the sleds
Early.
just to kind of front load it.
Yeah.
And try to make up ground or pass on the sleds. And then just
You
try
do
to beat
both
the
back to
race.
back?
Not both. No. Like just at least one. Like
That's going to give you a gap.
Yeah, bold strategy, Cotton.
the push, so at least you can close the gap on the run and just deal with the sled. And like, I don't know. I think at the top level of those, like it's going to take like a minute, 20 seconds or whatever. And then just potentially
This is all
reserve
pro
that.
weights, right?
It's pro weights I think they're doing.
Have you ever felt that? Run as hard as you can and then kick the sled? Just like
doesn't look that fun.
empty it on a sled. It's a feeling that you could deal with.
I think so.
Because it's always what's coming next is your limiter.
Yeah.
That'd be a
I
weird
think
feeling
you'd
to
be
be
done
on a
in
sled,
five-
like, empty.
5.5 minutes. You could probably do the sled in probably 2:30 going all out or so if it's men's pro weights.
I did 215 in
The
DC.
push or the pull?
Oh,
It'd be like
I was
130.
gonna say pull.
Oh, the pull.
130 is going to be the slow end for
Yeah.
push.
Probably.
So you come off, you run a 250 for your 1,000, maybe 255.
Just hammering.
Just
Yeah.
hammer.
And just like, and even if you go that hard, and even if you break it up half, but you put on that kind of distance on the run, like you'll
Yeah.
be in it. You know?
Because how far is Dylan going to be behind Hunter? I think Dylan can probably be within 4 or 5 seconds of him.
You think Hunter could hold 33s, 132s for 1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he could go
Yeah.
29,
Yes.
28.
So Dylan could probably do 30.
I
I
think
think
Dylan.
he's going to target mid 30s
7?
for the World Championship Pro.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
I mean, he
That would be
always
crazy.
does 36, 37 anyway during races.
He starts there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ends at above 40.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know. I think Dylan, he's going to be able to basically play tag with them during
hang
that. I
around.
don't. Yeah.
That'd be
He's gonna
hard.
lose 10 seconds. on the speed.
Rower is, and
That's
I
what I
know
mean.
Dylan's a fantastic rower. I think Dylan might be a faster runner, so I don't think the gap's going to be that big.
We got to keep it tight though.
Yeah. So this
Dylan's
kind of
not a
reminds me
faster
of
runner than Hunter.
yeah.
But they're probably pretty similar.
I don't think it's
In 1,000, I think Dylan's
It's definitely
smooth.
close.
It's close. I should say Dylan hit. I take that back. Dylan's running has taken the next level.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
running well right now.
We used to
Very,
make fun
very
of him,
well.
say he had one speed. That guy's got wheels now.
He might still have one speed, but that speed is much faster.
It's faster. Yeah. Honestly, like putting a Rylan out there, if you were on your team, like just let him drop a 240 for the opening K.
He should
just
run an
go-
erg.
Yeah.
He should run an erg. Yeah. What the?
Yep.
Again.
Disagree.
It likes your
iOS
idea
knows.
right there.
Disagree.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn this
But then
thing off.
then it turns into kind of the mixed relay, which I know is your favorite event, Rich. Do you have women at the end due to the running component? They're going to be so much faster at wall balls, but I feel like they're going to cancel each other out because every top end woman is going to be unbroken.
That's
So
the
it's
other,
women's weight no matter what.
No, I think they're doing pro weight.
So they'll
or
have
whatever.
both.
However, I
Each
think
weight
so.
you choose the appropriate one when you step.
I don't
in
know
there.
if they'll be able
It's
to pull
gender
it off.
specific.
I think that's how they're going to do it, but I
Okay.
feel like they would have a hard time pulling it off because you'd have to declare, and then you'd have to have
Yeah.
a lane, right?
And you better
Yeah.
not screw up your order.
Right. But they're not going to know. You might be able to screw up your order and be like, "Oh, I decided to do the push instead of
Yeah.
Lauren Griffith and pushed it in 59
Oops.
seconds." Yeah.
What are the odds?
Or the wall balls too. But that would be another strategy, right? Is to put the faster runner at the end to try to catch the women or get in front of them to put a little bit of a cushion on. Because yeah, it's going to be 15 seconds probably at least.
But we've already seen Lauren Weeks like is as fast as all the men basically. What was she did in Deka?
Whatever. All right. What else we got? I saw that TRP putting up high level Instagram content. Chad Coleman just crushing.
Oh yeah.
Chad,
was really
Chad
funny.
got you in Kirk and I decently well.
His Kirk was really good.
He
I
got
thought
the
he got
mannerisms
yours.
in there.
I was impressed with the one of you, Rich.
Like when I saw it, it was like kind of hearing your voice for the first time on like a answering machine. You're like, no, that's not right.
No way.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, probably that is me.
Yours was a caricature of you. Kirk's was Kirk.
It was actually Kirk.
Yeah. I thought Hunter's was also, and he tried talking like Hunter a little bit also.
Rock
Like
Hunter's
solid.
tough to
sound-wise.
run like,
Yeah.
but he got the mannerisms.
Yeah.
He's got to put on that super pain face.
Yeah. Bracken, I actually thought that yours was the worst of the four.
A little bouncy,
that, Chad?
bouncy.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a fantastic overall. I'm just ranking.
It's
And
really
I'm
fun.
ranked last.
Yeah.
Jack will never give me my flowers.
Absolutely. You would never give
like
me that any
always.
flowers.
Like always.
Yeah. So VJ was going to do that a while ago, but he never ended up doing it. So lost out, but he had like Killian's form, Atkins, Kempson. He had everybody who he was going to imitate, and then he just never did it.
Those are good ones. Kempson's would be good. Just
Yeah, exact. Killian also. He's got a pretty notable one, but
major. Yeah, for sure. Like yeah. Was that UBK said he's like arms are moving faster than his legs or something like that? It doesn't look like he's moving in unison.
It's two different. Yeah, his body. His lower half runs so well, but long, and his upper body just thrashes.
Swimming around.
But he's got that triathlon look to his stride where it's just continuous motion. It's worked well for him.
Hey, great career. All
It's
right,
not over. He'll be at one of these decas.
It's not
he
over.
already
Is that
was.
true?
He was in Knoxville and he ran like a 33 high.
Yeah. Streak's alive.
I'm showing up on that Mondo
Yep.
course this year. I can't wait.
Yeah. Bracken, when are you
Mondo.
making your Deka debut? I
We
know
ask
you're
him
doing
every- we ask
Hyrox
him-
New
We ask him
York.
every week.
I know
Not-
that, but now we're like really spending some time.
You
in
think
this.
I'm doing the Hyrox New York?
You're,
I thought you
you're
were.
old
Oh,
news,
Jack.
dude.
Oh, yeah, you injured yourself sleeping. I forgot. Yeah.
No, my son has a race that same day, and
Every
he can't
day.
race if I'm not there.
Have him race in New York.
Yeah,
I can
get an
still
East
go
Coast
straight
race.
line. I just can't turn to the
What
left.
time's his race?
That's not how karting works.
That's what I'm asking.
Are you
That's not
all?
how it
Is it an
works.
all-day?
Doesn't he want to go on a
when you
trip
go?
to New York with you after his race? If
You
he has a
got
morning one?
race briefing at 9:15. Open practice
Okay.
starts at 10. You have practice session, qualifying, pre-final, final. Day before is kart testing and tech inspection. It's not
How
the
long?
kind of thing you can come into town and do.
What if
How-
Hyrox is later in the day?
I don't know if you're hearing me.
How long are the races? The kart races?
So his are 8-minute qualifying or 3-lap hot lap qualifying. Then he has last week at least it was then a 10-minute pre-final and 12-minute final.
Oh, nice. So it's something. It's something to watch. It's not like
Yeah, I mean they're running 45 seconds per lap, so it's a lot of lap. You're getting 14, 15 laps in.
got
Time for mistakes to be made and things to happen.
got the cooler bush lights out there.
Oh, come on. I'm not that fancy.
Bush heavy.
Are they sponsoring the kids races?
I'm loyal,
Getting
so
them
it's
while they're young?
Milwaukee's best. Or
Beast,
sense.
baby.
Yeah.
It's steady.
no, I
steady.
can't drink on the job. I'm the pit crew. I'm everything.
Got the bzz, bzz, doing the whole thing. The
Gotta
changing
lift
their
the
wheels
cart up off the.
just with your
Dang.
big strong hands. All that
Would he
OCR.
destroy you in a race? Like you have the driving license, but you don't
Yeah,
have the
it wouldn't
racing.
even be close.
Okay.
That's
those
something you just
things-
don't know how to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I would spin out on every corner.
So
I would
is
never
he,
get it up to full throttle.
is he the kid you go to like a go-kart track and you see the leaderboard and someone's got like 7,000 more points than the next person? And it's like there's no way that someone can actually drive that fast or that well. He's that kid.
Yeah, he has the second fastest lifetime times at our local indoor one.
How does weight impact that being his
Very
size?
much so. Indoor karting with the electric, it's you're lighter, so you accelerate better, but heavy
Okay.
allows you to drive it into corners and drift a little better. And drifting matters in karting.
Okay.
But outdoor, they have minimum weight requirements. So his class, you have to hit 260 pounds driver plus sled. So he only weighs 75 pounds. So we have to add ballast to it.
Gotcha.
And then where do you add the ballast for corner entry and exit?
Of
It's a whole
course.
thing. And I'm just making mistakes week by week.
Hey, that's how we learn. That's how we learn. You got to get them on that bulking plan.
Tack on some mass.
Get them all. Get
Yeah.
them all yoked. All right. Let's
Get him
talk.
on a rammer.
What's that?
Get him on that rammer strength planning trend.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Man, Rich, I heard that CrossFit sucks.
Excellent segue, Jack.
Oh, what are the odds? Yeah.
We're moving along. So this is on the peripheral of our world. We mention CrossFit, but we don't really cover CrossFit per se. But I'm following it more closely this season, and I'm understanding that their qualification system is also pretty ridiculous. And in the past, I'm like, okay, they have the ability to perform their way into the games, right? It's like the open, top X amount percent, then the next level, quarterfinals, and you show performance to get to where you need to go. But it's seeming to be a little less objective than that. And this quarterfinals is a really good example of that. So they had the quarterfinals this past 2 weekends ago, and they took the full week to kind of solidify the leaderboard and just make it official. So top 25% from the open move on to quarters.
Including you.
I was in there, baby. I was top 5%. Son, are you serious? But then these workouts came out, and I'm like, I can do like one of those potentially. So I'm gonna not go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. But then the top 40 from each region will then move on to an in-person competition called semifinals. So the quarterfinals is still an online, remote kind of competition. So there was this crazy, like a lot of penalties that were dished out during quarterfinals for a workout that included box step-ups. And so they were saying like people were getting hit with like their hips weren't open, or another part of the standard where shoulders and head have to be in line with your hips. So with a box step-up, you're looking at the box, right? So that people are getting banged with these penalties. And there's a certain threshold of bad reps that happen within these online things when they're reviewing the video, where you don't just lose the reps, you get a significant penalty, which is between like 15 and 40% of your score. So in the instance of what happened, this woman who was in a good spot over at the gym here at CrossFit Omnia, Kelly Stone, she was in 13th after the initial leaderboard kind of shook out. And she got a penalty that took her from 13th to 91st. So it just eliminated her chances to move on. And there were a couple of games athletes like Nick Matthew, I think he's from the Midwest somewhere, Sydney Wells, this woman who finished like 10th at the games last year, trains out of Mayhem, whose name I'm forgetting right now, got bumped all the way out. So their seasons are essentially over because of these big ass penalties. And one thing that happened in Kelly's instance just for the example here, is she had 14 reps that they said that they docked as like questionable or no reps. So she went from like 195 to 165, putting her in like the 60s or 80s into 588th place for that one workout. And so so I think the difference in the reps, because it was 195, so it took 20% off of that, so it knocked it down like 40 reps, as opposed to the 14 that she actually
The actual number.
Yeah. So for an AMRAP competition, they didn't take off the reps. They just docked her with this
Percent.
significant penalty and dropped her all the way down. And they only review some of the videos, right? So in this case, Kelly now in 588th in this, they're not going to review 587th and 586th. They just review like the top 60. So all these people that are above her could also have questionable reps, which could move her back up, but they're not going to do that. They're just like, hey, this is the penalty you got. So there's nothing you could really do about it.
How do they choose that 15 to 40% range penalty applied?
The significant one? I'm not sure.
Why? Why not just remove the reps?
Yeah.
From what I understand, it's that so not all the workouts are going to be like, some of them will be for like time, right?
Mhm.
Or you have to get to a certain threshold or something to move on.
Which I understand for those, but for a workout where you can accurately judge
It's
what
simply
they
count
cost.
based.
I just think that these are like, this is what we're doing.
The
There's a
the
significant
penalty
penalty.
should be missed reps plus the fatigue that you got by wasting your time not doing a rep that they count as legal.
Right. And maybe that's something that they're just like, hey, there's other things that we can't really factor in, but they don't differentiate between the workouts. They just have one significant penalty.
So you're saying Hyrox has it nailed by comparison?
It makes me feel less bad about how poorly Hyrox has managed their qualification systems.
So do they just have a huge queue of complaints, and is there a challenge option?
Isn't it
Is there
locked
a-
at this point?
You can yes, Jack, the
can
leaderboard was
protest?
finalized yesterday. You can
Yesterday.
protest. But I think they just kind of throw those out. And I don't think they're hearing them. And another thing that was happening, I don't know what the final numbers are on this, but the West and the North American region split East-West. The West had like, and now I'm just spitting out numbers, but it was something crazy, like 90% more penalties. Like there was like of the submissions that they were checking. So
It's a
really, it's like
dishonest section of the country?
the people that sleep a little 2 hours later, they don't know how to do box step ups. So like that just showed, that's like, okay, there was a judge reviewing the videos for the West that was more strict than the East. And like, that's just how it is. Like it's crazy for these online competition pieces. It reminds me a little bit of Deka strong and mile stuff, right? That's kind of where I'm looking at here. But that would be a step, I guess, that Deka could take to get those. They could verify, but this is just a mess. Like these online verifying videos, and they make the judges take a judging test, right? Like you're a certified judge. It's very simple, but you still are certified as a judge through CrossFit, but then they review the video anyway and penalize people after the deadline's done, so they can't like redo it.
Shouldn't you just go off the judge's word at that point? because they're
You would
in your
think.
system as a certified judge. They should be on the spot making the right call. Why? That's crazy.
I understand why they don't. Because if you had these crazy
Favoritism.
results in there, people would be like, who's double checking? You can't, like, what if it's
Yeah.
just their friend? You know, there has to be a
Which it
second
is.
tier.
Yeah, which it is their friends. You know, it's their coaches
Right.
doing it for sure.
You're not going to a new gym just to do your workout because you have a little bit of a personal bias in favor of you with the judge. Yeah.
So do they spot check, or is it everyone in the top 60 gets checked?
Unsure. I don't think they do. I don't think they don't request videos from everybody. They will hit you with an email and then ask you for a video.
You should record it in the event that you're asked for it, basically.
Everyone will record it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
So if you don't have one, it's nullified.
Yes. Or
Okay.
I actually don't know. I would think at this level, yes, but in the open, this happened where that woman who, Grace Walton in Oceania, got hit with a penalty, and that's what gave Miriam the win overall. But the person who ended up winning that workout didn't have a video, so they just didn't pay her, like the winning or whatever you would win. But she still got the result.
So they trusted the judge there.
I don't know.
So they pay out their prize money there?
If you win
the
a
open.
workout, you win three grand.
That's novel.
And then like 10,000 for the
And they give them
overall.
money?
For as far as I know.
Look at that.
As far as I know.
So
if
we
you
had
promise money for prizes, there are sports that hold you to that?
quickly.
I can't say for certain. I've never been paid. I've never won a workout in the open yet.
Doesn't seem like a good way of saving money as a company.
You could promise. You could under deliver.
Yeah. So if
always
we had to
underdeliver.
rank the ridiculous qualifying, this is pretty high up there. First, the Hyrox Elite 15 system through the years, Spartan North America, how difficult it is to even participate in Seattle this year, Deka for their local events. Like, what are you thinking? How do you rank them?
I don't know. This is up there, and also because it is like Tia Toomey got hit with a penalty, but it wasn't a significant penalty, right? Pat Vellner, same thing, got hit with a penalty, but
Favoritism.
not a significant penalty. So, but Kelly Stone, who's like a teams game athlete who has a shot to make it outside shot to make it, gets hit with a significant penalty, and no one's really gonna like. It's not gonna. The community's not gonna
riot.
go crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Tia got hit with it, people would be like, "This is the dumbest thing that's ever happened."
The qualification that we get mad about is because of the barriers to entry. Once you're in our sport, you can compete your way to whatever stage you want if you're able to perform. Whereas the digital online submission is always going to be an issue, right? It will always be an issue. At least in OCR, is it hard to get to maybe the first pro race because you don't have your card or whatever? Yeah, but once you're in, you can win your way straight through and no one will question it unless you touch a truss or skirt a mud puddle or whatever. But like if you're on course, you're set. If you get to Hyrox, if you can get to a major, if you can get to a last chance qualifier, the hard part's getting there.
Yeah.
But if you can start the workout, it's all up to you at that point. No one will stop you and say after the fact, we didn't like something. Like if you cross the finish line and you're good, you're good. And that is the part that we don't give enough credit to.
Yeah.
This is almost like, since it's stage based, Hyrox, you have 4 majors, you have a bunch of other opportunities to compete at last chance qualifier. Spartan, if you can't make Jacksonville, go ahead, do Big Bear, go ahead, do Utah. This is basically like, you didn't show up to Jacksonville, you're not allowed to race Utah or Big Bear for the opportunity to.
That's kind of what it's like this year for Spartan. But you're making.
I know what you're saying, but
you're
I'm
making a good
saying
point.
the buck stops there, like right away. You don't have that opportunity to participate in the other major races for a chance to qualify for Worlds.
Right. So there should be many athletes' seasons are over. And plus they let 25% in. So now there's like these people that shouldn't belong in this that are in front of this other athlete because they just like expanded the field and now they're just like in the way. But yeah, their season's just like over. At least in Hyrox, like it's silly that it's like time based. At least you could show up and try again. Like it's not taken out of your hands by Hyrox. They don't, and like an example would be if Hyrox, which they should probably do before races, but if they invalidated races, like if they went back to Berlin and was like, this course wasn't right.
It was
We're gonna
legit.
go ahead- Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and none of these times count. Which, in terms of like the sport for fairness, I wouldn't hate. But
But
for
if it
the
kept you out of
individual,
getting into the
yes.
last chance qualifier,
if it ended your season, or if
Right.
if they at a last chance qualifier, like did some like went back and gave penalties.
yeah. Yeah. As much as we are mad about the Seattle setup, if all three of us really wanted to run there, we could go do Big Bear.
I'll be there.
I can't do Big Bear. I don't think you could because of that Michigan W.
Show
Or
up
you could
back.
go do a different race quick.
One of your greatest accomplishments.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
You could, though.
You can do
Mm.
Fayetteville this weekend. Yeah.
Or save it till Utah. There's a route
Or
to
Carson.
Seattle for you that you might choose not to take. There's no one saying you're not allowed to
Right.
because we've invalidated it.
Yeah.
Now,
Your
if they
Frank-
invalidated, yeah, it is my greatest accomplishment. They invalidated my greatest athletic accomplishment, then that would suck. But I could go do another one.
Right. Where this is
Could
just
fly out to a stadium and just do it.
So your friend Kelly has no events on the calendar basically now until this exact point in time next year because of this.
exactly.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's rough.
Teams? Should you still do teams?
No, because you had to
No, that's simultaneous,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
teams were the week before.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like they had the so it's just over. It's just over. And that may be something that they could put in. So like the solution is a bigger in-person competition, right? Like if they don't take 40 to move to semis, they take 100 and they just make cuts, aggressive cuts, right?
Which would
So-
make them more money.
I'm not sure.
Probably.
I don't know if that's true because the online, because it costs a lot to do an in-person and they charge $25 for all 25% of the people on this online
True.
thing.
I think Bracken, you're saying for quarterfinal or semifinals, right?
Yeah, if you already
after
have to
this
rent the
stage.
venue,
Right.
then the cost doesn't scale up equally. You just have to have more equipment.
And it's just gonna be a
More
longer time,
rounds.
longer
Yeah.
time.
You might have to rent it an
to
extra day.
an extra day or something. Yeah.
So,
Um,
but more concessions, more tickets, more gate.
there would
Yeah,
probably be more
spectators.
tickets, right? More spectators because 50 more people got in. But then like you don't have this bit, and like if you expand like the open, maybe make it like 5 workouts again to get the right people into the semis and just make it more in person because these online ones, it's just not it. It's just
It's
not it.
the downside of doing virtual anything is that there has to be record keeping and validation.
Right.
And you run into it. The Hunter ran into it with his OCR stars. We ran into it with the even like
With
the
the beer
burpee
mile?
10K.
What?
Not the beer mile, but the burpee
check-
10K.
You didn't validate Jack's score?
You didn't
me go
need
back
to.
We were
and
You knew I
validating,
ran
but
that
we ran into
618.
trouble where people did until their GPS said they'd run a 10K on the track.
They're disqualified from every race ever
Right.
again, if that's the case.
Like Hunter had it, people ran a net 80-foot drop on that 6-mile run. You know, like he
Which
ran
was
into
within the
it.
bounds of the rules. And then he just disqualified people because.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, we ran into it in these little podunk events that we hosted. You're going to that's the issue. And they're a victim of their own success where they're worldwide and they're huge and you can't possibly watch every submission video.
No.
With the big discrepancy in the percent of errors, you said that West Coast US got way more markups basically than the East Coast for all the no reps and stuff. It's kind of like submitting a paper and you just have like the bad TA or the bad teacher who just like tears you a new one versus the one where it's like, okay, it's good enough, and then you're okay.
Which is insane,
Mhm.
right? That they would have like that.
What they should have done is, all right, we have 500 videos, we have 10 judges. You're going to get 5 from this region, 5 from that
Yeah.
region, 5. Just disperse it so that there's no favoritism right there. It's just all like, it sucks if you get that hard ass judge, but you at least have a little bit of variability instead of the whole region's just screwed because of the judge you got.
And I feel like there should be some, like they do have a ranking system that they're smoothing out. And like we've talked about this for Hyrox as well. But there's that should come way in a little bit, right? Like if someone like Pat Vellner does get a significant penalty or whatever and drops him out of qualifying from quarters to semis, like the dude obviously is fit enough to belong in that next level, right? And then if it's just this like subjective judging, I feel like there should be something in there to kind of help, like, oh no, this person like kind of belongs instead of just like their name recognition, because it's just like it's just bad. It's just bad for the sport.
There should almost be, if you had the personnel and time, someone in charge of second views of penalties. Because you're going to have way less penalty videos than all videos. And so whenever someone determines this is a penalty video, that person watches it and says yes or no. It's like a second set of eyes on it should be necessary to avoid one person with a vendetta or a bad eye.
But it should also be like random too, right? Like not be like, hey, this is a penalty video. So you're like looking close for penalties. I don't know.
But at least then the same person's judging them all and seeing them all and be like, this isn't bad.
True. What if Deka, and I don't know how much of an issue this really is, but like if there was qualifiers, like a semifinals for strong and mile, like if Sacramento was a West Coast qualifier, top 40 times or whatever go, then they have the opportunity to race their way into Worlds.
So early into the season, though, you think that those times will hold up?
Well, it wouldn't matter.
It just gets you in the door.
Oh, it's places. Okay. Yeah, I see.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of racing your way in. Always. And I keep coming back to this, but it struck me the unfairness. Like high school track, no one really cared. That's what, the time list, who cares? You got to race your way in. But then you get to college and now someone pops a race in January and they have a spot at nationals. That you get there and half these people running these times, it doesn't count. They're not good. They just run a time, or it was a weird time. They ran it on an oversized track, or like I talked about one time, University of Madison set up cones while I was at the meet and they ran it out in like lane 3 or 4 on an indoor track and just counted it. No one batted an eye because he was like the big coach of the area. And
Mick Byrne, dude, he's serious? Get out of his way.
So anyway, you start to realize how time qualification is so nonsensical unless the sport happens in a vacuum. It should just be in-person competition to qualify through, tells you who's the dog, who can compete. And that's who you want in the championship.
Yeah, we saw the Hyrox Virtual Championship of Fitness with their little competition, and didn't always yield the right people to make the finals.
That would be the example, right?
What was that half marathon record holder for years? Zirzane Tedeschi or whatever. He'd run significantly faster multiple times than anyone else in the history of the world in the half marathon, and had 0 world championship medals. He just couldn't do it if it wasn't like in a vacuum by himself in a time trial on the perfect course or whatever. But in a race, he just wasn't that guy.
Yeah, they thought he was going to be the breaking 2 guy. They put him on that team with Kipchoge and didn't last.
Yeah. And so I'm all about competition getting you in. So like to your point, Rich, get more people to the semis.
Yeah. It's stupid the way they're doing it now. But I think probably it's more of a money maker than a money saver.
For all we talk bad about Hyrox, they're getting better.
Yeah.
Like this last chance qualifier is a very big equalizer.
And they're going to have a contingency. They're going to have a contingency plan next year now that this new issue's happened. There's going to be another thing that we're not accounting for. We're not even debating like, oh, what do you think the issue is next year? Like you don't know until it happens realistically, but I think they're going to be even more and more prepared heading into the future after stuff like this keeps happening.
Yeah. On a year-to-year basis, they're improving faster than any of our fringe sports we've ever watched.
Yeah. And like you said, like if it is about finding the fittest, whoever's going to win, like they're going to get the 5 people or so that they need to, even if they just do time. So like from that perspective, like it's always going to be right. But if they do want the sport to grow and continue to get more eyeballs and participation of high level athletes, then they need to continue to clean it up, which seems like they're going to. We'll see. We'll see about whatever. Last year they announced it at Worlds what the qualifications would be for the following year.
And they already have that 24-25 leaderboard. So it's like, they're thinking of it already.
They're already going on times like, hey, these times rule. These are
legit.
great.
I'm hearing rumors.
What you got?
Oh, yeah?
Big behind the scenes contracts being signed.
What?
Big sponsors coming on, athletes starting to get paid, people buying into Hyrox, investing. If half of these rumors are true, Hyrox is going to be significantly bigger in worldwide next year than they are this year. And as a result, they're going to have the ability to put more into all of these sides that we care about because they're recognizing the power of the sport, not just the open, the sport itself. And so I don't want to be a trusting person about endurance competitions, but I'm starting to gain a bit of trust that Hyrox is doing it the right way.
I was thinking about the other day how they're like pretty locked in, like the events. They continue to make them better and better, but it seems like the system that they have is working, and now they can maybe shift focus into something like professionalizing the sport. You know, instead of trying to do everything in tandem, now they can really kind of spend time there. But I don't know. I don't know, dude. Maybe there's going to be a lot of disgruntled CrossFitters coming over. I think. I mean, like, this sport sucks.
I hope so.
They come over and get that work.
I think the quickest way to get eyes on a sport is to bring a star or a well-known athlete from another sport into it. It gets proven time and time again. Crossover works.
Like LeBron?
Every time Jake Paul fights, he sets bigger numbers than regular boxers fight because he gets the YouTube crowd over. Is it good for boxing? Yes, no, who cares? The purists will always say no. Every man will just say, I watched, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Because then they might stick around and then be good for boxing. Doesn't matter what he's doing. If you get eyes, the sport grows. And the more we can bring people over. That's why I'm big in favor of having some sort of wild card system where there's a pipeline for someone who's pre-existingly good somewhere else. Put him onto a big stage. Let them do it. Who cares?
But you can't prevent the athletes who are doing well.
No, it's an additional spot.
Additional.
Right. It's an additional.
But then, like, if you
what does it hurt?
You invite 30 people and that person gets the 31st wild card. What about the 31st actual person? They're like, what?
Someone's
Come
always
on,
gonna
I'm
get
right
screwed.
there.
Yeah, you're screwing somebody.
And Rich doesn't like it because he's too close to the issue.
It's just like when it's just like
I agree with
influencer.
him, though.
It's like influencer marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, except these are proven people. That year in Spartan race brought over Olympians and national champs from other sports in 2013 World Championships. It drummed up a ton of publicity, and NBC Sports put on a big show about it. And it was the start of Spartan televised products. It was huge, and they all sucked. But they brought eyes on, and they made it so that they could sell it to NBC Sports. So we have Olympians, we have world champs. Let's sell that kind of thing works. It always angers the people who were there at the beginning.
Right.
But eyes are eyes.
BK, were you surprised that Anthony Joshua just starched Ngannou like that?
No.
You knew that was coming?
You just can't dabble into boxing. You just can't.
He gave the gypsy a run.
That was different. I'm not entirely convinced Tyson Fury was even trying or sober for the first few rounds. It was an insane over performance by Ngannou, but he showed some really basic flaws in that fight, and Joshua exploited them from the very first move he made in the ring.
He's like, I'm punching this dude the lights out.
Yeah. It was bound to happen. And against people that big, you can't make mistakes.
No.
That guy can knock out a building.
I think Mike Tyson's going to do in his upcoming fight.
When is that? You going to be locked in, BK?
I'm going to watch,
Yeah,
even if I
you
don't
are.
like myself for watching.
Yeah,
It doesn't go well. Late stage career comebacks do not go well.
Yeah.
You think he's going to lose?
His only route to winning is an early knockout. It's his only route.
Aren't there funny rules too? It's
Are they
just
drug tested?
I think they're wearing headgear.
They are.
That was the original stipulation they released.
I heard that they weren't going
Now he could knock you out in headgear.
Oh, for sure. But I thought that they weren't going to score the fight. It's just knockout or not. Knockout
Probably
or
not.
best. Pass fail. Knockout or not.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Neither could pass a drug test, so they're both happy not to have testing.
Yeah.
At least Jake Paul, he's got some skills in there.
He's serious. He's taking it seriously.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. I think that's it, really. We're going to see everybody cheer on Jack Bauer out there in Sacktown doing work. Saturday. What time do you start? 8?
7:30 California time, so adjust your time zone accordingly.
No.
Well,
All right,
well,
that's fine.
OCR report. Check it out. Anything else we got?
Big Bear in a couple weeks, Anaheim in a couple weeks. What you
Yeah.
got?
Waiting for the majors.
Oh,
Things
yeah.
are coming. Things will happen, and we will talk about it. What's up on TRP?
I rarely announce a guest,
Oh,
but I'm excited about this one. The
Yeah,
world record holder in the beer mile is coming on.
me?
men's
No,
or
the
women's?
guy 420 Corey
Corey
Bellimer.
Belmore.
Yeah.
What are you gonna talk about?
Everything.
Can
Gotta
you
tune in. Smash that button.
Smash
can
that
you
like,
mention
smash that
that
subscribe?
that two of your co-hosts in a different podcast have competed and one of them beat the other co-host?
Yeah, for sure.
Not validated.
I've got it all on video.
Does
We need to
does
check your
Corey-
alcohol content.
does Corey wear gloves?
It's on Instagram.
Everyone
Probably.
wears gloves.
I just didn't have gloves or bottles.
Yeah, you didn't have
I was at a
you
major
know,
disadvantage.
research.
He won his most recent world title in one shoe. Came
Oh,
off
I
on
did
the
see that.
first run.
And these are like sub 430 that these dudes are running, or right around
He's
430.
sub 430. He's like a
That's-
356 miler or something like that.
That's so crazy.
Disgusting.
Like
He's
they're
doing
fighting.
8 to 12 seconds every beer.
They're
Oh,
fighting.
faster
like
than
silver.
that. 60.
Yeah.
Just I need
Oh,
bottles. Next time I do one, I don't know. I wonder if I'll ever do a beer mile ever again.
I'll face you head to head.
I'll bust that ass, dude.
You won't drink
won't.
beer.
It doesn't matter. If you can't beat a guy who doesn't even drink beer, that's pretty lame.
Remember
No,
how
I'm saying,
bad?
are you going to do it with beer?
I did.
Oh, I thought you did LaCroix.
No, I got
which
drunk
is
in
harder.
like 40 minutes after I was so gone. Like that's so much beer in such a short amount of time after while running.
Just
I
talking.
did it power walking because I had just had knee surgery
Mm.
and I was hammered during.
Yeah.
It said
it was-
so you're going too slow.
I had Bud Platinum. I don't even. It was like 5 or 6%, and
Those
that
are yeah.
Platinum's
that
the
was
way
some
to go.
serious alcohol content pretty quickly.
What do you think Jack talking about when he's all turned? Just talks about like how to get the best deals on flights. Just won't shut up
I
about
was
it.
on 4th of July, and I was on
You
the
guys
back
aren't
deck.
using spreadsheet macros. You're just, I don't even know.
Your credit
I
card
don't know,
points are-
man.
what are you doing with your credit card
It-
points? Let me tell you all about them.
I actually, Ryan McGuire reached out to me yesterday and he's like, hey, I need to get to France for Hyrox Worlds. I've got this many points. How am I going to make it? Like word gets out that I know what I'm doing with that stuff. So I help.
Did you help him?
out. He only has points with Delta, so he can't transfer them and there just aren't any deals. I was like, maybe try flying out of Atlanta or JFK or something else. Well, it's just not happening at that time because the Paris Olympics are right after that. So a lot of the flights over to Europe are already taken for the
And they're
deals.
expensive, dude. I just booked
Yeah.
my flight and it's
like
not.
1,200-1,300 bucks from Denver.
Yeah. One
Jeez.
way it ended up being about that much. I haven't even booked my flight back. But I didn't. I could have gotten cheaper. But I want to just do a direct and
Yeah. Are you getting there like Tuesday, Monday before? Like
the
definitely
week
spend-
before. We're gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
flying into Frankfurt.
Okay.
Gonna hang
Good
in
old
Germany for a
Frankfurt
while.
again. Yeah.
Love Frankfurt. And I have a direct. It was expensive as shit. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Directs there.
Taking the train there after or taking a flight.
Flight.
Okay.
But Ryanair, that cheap ass one, doesn't fly out of Frankfurt.
Oh.
So Lufthansa,
Yeah.
gonna eat that weird like cheese, whatever they give us.
That's good.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Amy going with you?
She's going a couple days later, and we're
Okay.
gonna meet up in Nice.
You
Fun
give her
trip.
6 layovers. She's making up the.
That was
Yeah.
what Jack did.
With Audrey?
Audrey had like a 20-hour layover.
All
I
right.
was like,
So
later.
so Audrey basically she was in between jobs then and had like a month off, and she found out like we already had our flights, and within like a week she's like, all right, I'll go with you to Dubai. So there are no flights available, and I had like 40,000 points, and there was one flight that was 40,000 points, and I'm like, that's how you're gonna get back. And it went from Dubai to Frankfurt, then Frankfurt to Munich, then Munich to London,
That's what it
London to
was.
Denver. It was terrible. But what
It
happened
was like a
was
Tour of
summer
Europe.
abroad.
yeah, but what happened was the London flight, the crew got stuck in the US because of bad weather, so she had to spend an extra day unexpected in London, but her return flight the next day was so early that she couldn't really get out and explore either. It turned into like a 60-hour nightmare, and I felt so bad for it.
But you're home. Didn't
Yeah.
use all your points.
It cost like $11 because of all the taxes and nothing else in points. So
didn't
you
feel
got
that bad about it.
back, but at
Didn't
the
feel
same
that bad
time, I
about
felt
it.
really bad about it.
Not really bad.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll do it for us. Thanks for sticking with us. Make sure you're smash that subscribe. Share if you have a friend who
You have a
You have
friend.
a friend. You just have a friend.
if you have a friend who might want to listen to weird stuff about niche sports, send them the Race Brain podcast.
You have a friend.
You have a
Friend.
friend.
Congrats. Let me know your
Congrats.
secrets.
Yeah. That'll do it. We'll talk to you later.